Welcome back, everybody, to the Black Valve Coliseum. Me and Kevin are finally back in person. It's great to see you, bub. Yep,
you called me Kevin. All right, I'll take it.
Or the grill guy, whichever one. We're excited to be back here. Black Valve has housed us for season 1. We're in season 2. But before we get into this episode, Kevin is going to give you some info from our friends over at MyBookie.
Yeah, we got to get on this MyBookie. By the way, we have sponsors. We're not a regular podcast. We're a podcast with sponsors, okay? And one of the sponsors, the only sponsor we have, this podcast is brought to you by them, MyBookie. Sign up to MyBookie, mybookie.com. Use promo code GRILLGUY, who is me because I have a promo code. Use promo code GRILLGUY, and you get 50% of your deposit matched. So let's do math. You put up $500, how much you getting matched? $250 in free bets.
Wow.
I mean, you can have ROI, if you know what I mean, which is return on investment.
Yes, for those of you that
don't know. So sign up to MyBookie, use promo code GRILLGUY. They're the best in the biz, and we love them.
Yeah.
You know who else we love? Black Valve Coliseum, Black Valve Media. They do like real movies, not just like indie movies. They're on like serious movies.
Yeah, these
commercials.
Guys are no joke.
They're no joke. Commercials. There's a music studio here. I mean, this is, if you're trying to produce something in Cleveland or anywhere around Cleveland, hit up Black Valve Media. They're the best of the best.
You know where to go.
Evan and Hunter. Cousins. It's a family business.
Yeah. Family-run operation. Who doesn't
crazy.
love that?
And also, speaking of families, we must touch on just the hottest family in basketball, which is the Ball family. Did you ever think
I might swerve in that corner. Whoa, whoa.
Did you ever think, first off, do you guys still play that? Is it still, or is it like kind of last week?
You know, like, so I asked like Darius yesterday, I was like, hey, like what does, if you were to like paint out in your mind what swerve bend the corner would look like.
Yeah.
I was like, could you like show me what that looked like? And he just started like running in circles. It made me think of like, you remember the meme that came out, or the video that's like the donkey with like the voiceover, like the donkey just has like the yips and he's like, I'm fast as fuck, boy. I'm fast as fuck, boy.
Yeah. That was Darius?
Yeah.
Was that a locker room moment where you just started cracking up?
You know, I didn't really know like it had come out. Like I thought it was a joke.
Yeah.
And then we were down in Dallas and they were playing it. And then like the Detroit Lions were playing it. Then like everybody was playing it. And now like, I guess like a bunch of artists like want to get on the track with him and like,
bro, if he doesn't capitalize on this for like, if his pride gets in the way,
he is the son of LeVar Ball. Okay. They capitalize on.
I'm just saying, everything. I haven't heard Jello talk about it. Like he's got to be out. Like, he should be doing. I know he's headlining one of these shows. I don't remember which one. Oh, Rolling Loud. He's on Rolling Loud. But speaking of arena, every arena in the NBA is playing it. The Cavs played it last night. You hear it on pregame for like any game. And it's just a normal song now. It's like, it's a hit song.
When you hot, you hot.
Yeah. Who would have thought the one guy that wasn't going to make the NBA becomes a platinum rap artist? I mean, that guy, LeVar, is just one of one.
And all three sons like have like real personality. I mean, like Lonzo.
Is he cool?
Yeah. Like I've had some encounters where, I'll make a joke where like Lonzo's known for like playing defense.
Yeah.
So he was guarding me like one time. I said, you're going to waste all that defense over here on me? He was like, them legs don't move like they used to, my boy. Like that whole funny, like,
so
then the other night we were playing like the Charlotte Hornets, and like I was talking to the ref, and LaMelo was like, minivan, like
he was
thinking like, am I really? And he's like, hey yo, chill, minivan, and I'm like, of course, you would know that's my nickname.
One of the cool. First off, you're a star. Everyone knows your nickname. Pound it, dude. One of the coolest things, or one of the funniest things I saw, was his press conference the other day when the reporter was like, LaMelo, I see you're going out with a great, and he's like this dorky white dude asking a question, and LaMelo just starts laughing. He's like, how you get your voice like that? He's like laughing at this dude.
He is loving life.
Yeah,
like,
they're killing it.
And then I saw another one where someone was like, how did you really feel about that? He was like, nah, for real, I just wake up truly blessed. Like, shit good. Oh, man, he's awesome. Great. Forget media training. Just keep it authentic. You keep it authentic, stuff sells, man.
Man, they had that like reality show. They're used to be in front of the cameras. They've been stars since they were in high school. It's cool. It's cool to see like them call their shot, and they're living it. And you know what the coolest part is? Seeing Lonzo come back from 2 years after whoever thought he was going to get his knee right, because he basically had like what Brandon Roy had, I think, which like ended his career, right?
Bone on bone.
Yeah, some crazy shit. And he's back dunking the basketball, catching oops. So you guys are playing Chicago soon, I think, right? In January.
I'm not sure of the schedule, but we've had some pretty intense games, especially that one on was it ESPN or TNT against the Oklahoma City Thunder. I'm just gonna sit here and say this: we need to get Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell in the All-Star game. Like, come on.
Dude,
seriously.
Those guys, Jarrett Allen, first off, like,
change the game. Offensive rebounding, scoring points. You know, I was telling someone the other day, I was like, the old Cavaliers, people would have been like, oh, you could take away Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell and you'll be good. Well, Evan Mobley and Jared Allen showed you that, you know, if you take away those two, we can throw the ball down to them and they can score points, and we can offensive rebound with Jared Allen because he was phenomenal. And guess what he does in his free time? He freaking makes computers, dude.
Yeah, is he like a genius?
Oh, he's a genius.
He is, right?
Yeah.
He actually builds computers?
He has this saying that's like, you know, we're playing Cavs basketball. And like, what's Cavs basketball? He's like, you know, good ethical basketball.
What does that even mean?
Yeah. And so someone asked him the other night, he's like, you know, homegrown, grass-fed.
Grass-fed, organic basketball.
Now he's just like doubling down on the joke. But Jared, we see you. You're just outthinking us right now.
Even last night, dude, watching that guy play basketball is crazy, because if you would have listened to a lot of the talking heads this offseason, they were like, gotta trade away one of the bigs. Yeah. Like, what's Cleveland going to do with the two bigs? And all those guys got to stick their foot in their mouth now, because it's like,
because the mad scientist, Kenny, you know, Kenny Einstein Atkinson,
stud, has them playing together great, but then also throughout the course of the game, you never don't have an elite center in the game.
Right.
Because if Mobley's sitting, Jared Allen's an elite center and vice versa. Yeah. And then Mobley can do so many other things, not that Jared Allen can, but Mobley can shoot the three, he can play off the bounce, like he can do so many other things that it's like they have unlocked something crazy. And dude, it just keeps coming at you.
Yeah, no, it's been phenomenal to see what we can do.
Yeah, talk to us about that OKC game
with the team that we have. Yeah, it was a playoff environment, right? Yeah. I think the NBA did a great job of, I don't want to say marketing it or whatever, but I think it lived up to the hype. Those are the games that like people, you know, want to see. Those were two teams that were playing hard as heck in the middle of the season. I think it was on a Wednesday night. And you know, whatever people want to say about market, small market, but it was as good as advertised. And I think the best part is that both teams play the right way. Like, it's not overly ISO dominated. The ball is moving. Guys are playing hard. And I think it was what people want to see. And guess what? We play them again in a week. So it's going to be extremely exciting. But with that being said,
I have one bone to pick about the marketing for OKC.
What?
They were saying they were on a 15-game winning streak.
They were, right?
They lost in the finals of the NBA
Well,
Cup,
that doesn't
and
count.
They don't count it.
Yeah.
That's a loss, though. It's tough to say you're on a 15-game losing streak when you lost 2 weeks ago.
Yo.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Hey.
So it is a wrinkle that was, I think you guys, if you take that out, you guys had the longer winning streak. Now you guys are at 12. 12, I think 12.
Yeah.
But going back to the OKC game, as a fan, I said, I don't think I've ever watched a more entertaining NBA basketball game in January.
They said 30 lead changes. It was like back and forth, back and forth.
I said this, and you're going to get pissed at this, and I'm surprised you didn't see my story because I was kind of baiting you to get pissed at me. It felt like being in the gym, like a small gym of a really good high school game, where it's just going back and forth. This team's going up by 6. This team's going up. The NBA, you don't see runs like that, George, in the regular season.
Dude,
you don't.
You are stuck on like high school basketball, and it pisses me off. Seriously, like, grow up. No, that was nothing like a high school basketball
Listen
game.
to my point.
These are NBA athletes out there, plus Niang.
This is my point. In the NBA in January, you don't often see a lead change, another lead change, up by 7, up by 10, back up. It doesn't swing back and forth like that usually, because that indicates both teams are playing really hard, which the truth is in January on a Wednesday, you don't often see.
Well, here's my take on that. I think it was extremely important to showcase that game because I think us and OKC are extremely similar, right? We have our go-to guys, but we also have like extreme depth, and we have like both teams have smart basketball players. Like there are young players over there that could be like a Cason Wallace, for example. He could be like, you know what? I was a first-round pick. I want to play pick and roll, but no, he defends, he rebounds, he plays his role. And he does it at a level that's like, I understand the game of basketball, and I know that I could get out of my box, but I'm going to stay in this box so that my team can be better off. And you have so many guys like that. You look at the Aaron Wiggins, you know, and then
Who's like the 7th or 8th man off the bench and comes in and gives buckets.
Yeah, exactly, and plays defense. And then you have all the guys on our, you know, roster that, you know, could be starting somewhere else that like buy into the team roles. And I think it's kind of an evolution of the game where, you know, teams are going to having more depth rather than, you know, the three-headed monster or whatever it is, because you just have guys that are going to sacrifice and be willing to give to the team rather than be like, hey, what time am I getting in? Because so they can start doing them plays for me, doing the plays that revolve around me.
Or like someone calling themselves a system it's just not good for basketball.
James
I know it's your boy. He's your boy.
Elite.
He is an elite.
He tried to do it, and I wasn't going to let him.
I'm not saying that what he said
because
isn't valid.
Because what he's doing in LA is pretty impressive.
He's probably the best one-on-one basketball player we've probably ever seen. And it's not that he's selfish because he dishes the ball. It's just that when one player is a system, which it was in Houston, and it has been in places he's been, it hasn't always worked.
But he evolved. Like when he went to Brooklyn, like, and you know what Kent Bazemore had said, like, yo, y'all better chill out because being that third option is almost as bad, like is worse than being like a sixth man.
Yeah.
And
just him involving.
Yeah, and James Harden went to Brooklyn and turned into like a pass first point guard.
He did.
Then we went to Philly and he had less production in the scoring category, but had like 10, 11 assists. Like,
yeah, because he was playing with he kind of gave up that Batman.
He's just that talented to where, yes, I believe he is kind of a system because he can manipulate the game. He's that smart and that creative that he can manipulate the game to be a scorer and or a facilitator. And it's been impressive to see.
The argument against it is if you look at the last few teams that have made runs at NBA championships, they're more along the lines of what you and OKC are, which are team first or I don't want to say team first, but team
play the
involved.
Right way.
Yeah. Ball moves, depth.
Music to the eyes.
Yeah, and it's like but I felt like in the first 3 quarters of the OKC game, I was like, this fucking OKC team comes at you in so many different ways. It's like they keep coming. And then I got reminded in the fourth quarter that the Cavs do the same shit. Yeah. It's like, man, and then it happened again last night where you guys were like,
ain't going anywhere. We right here. What?
That's a pretty good DMX impression. But you see that the depth really makes for a very difficult fourth quarter for your opponents. Like, and it's impressive to see.
Yeah, no, honestly, it's really cool to have, you know, so much depth and be a part of something that is so much fun and it's exciting to watch. It's exciting to be a part of. We come at teams in waves, you know, there's no pressure on anybody to feel like, oh, tonight has to be my night or we're going to struggle. It's more or less like, get out there, make shit happen, cause a little chaos, make a couple buckets.
Be whoever it is that you are, it seems like.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's, you know, kind of been our MO and our identity is that, you know, we kill teams with our depth.
Yeah.
And where you think you have us, you know, right where you want us, and then we come in with, you know, Karras or Max or, you know, Donovan checks back in or I'm in, Dean, Isaac, Ty Jerome, you know.
Darius proving like last night. I want to get to the last night's game in a second. But yes, it's crazy to see. The one thing I wanted to ask you is What's it like when you play against someone like SGA? What's the conversation around defending him? Because it seems like he has like 2 spots on the floor that if he gets to, it's a bucket, and there's nothing you can do.
It almost feels like 3. It's like the rim, mid range, and
Yeah.
then he'll line you up with that step back.
He is like on that
3.
left side,
Yeah.
like short corner. He gets there. He's going to turn around. He's going to get into you, and it's a bucket.
Yeah.
What's the conversation defensively to guard SGA, or is it just like?
I think you just have to make it tough on him the
Yeah.
whole night and almost, make him want to play a one-on-one battle. He's so smart. He's so elusive that he kind of does a really good job of manipulating the game. And then when he gets to his spots, he's almost, unstoppable, and I think he's going to make sure that he gets to his spots. Now, what you really have to do is refrain from actually like fouling him, because that's the free throw line. That's one spot he doesn't miss from. Yeah.
Shooting like 90, I think 89%. But
And then like you want to go back to like the Darius Garland thing. Like I just saw a stat. He's averaging 20 points and he's 90, 50, 40, for those of you at home that don't understand, that's 90% from the free throw line. That's 50% from the field, and that's 40% from 3. With a player that has that much usage, that's really
Crazy.
impressive. I know Steph Curry had been
Nash
at
did
that
it.
level. Steve Nash did it. But to be able to be that efficient is really impressive. And then to dial it back, right? SGA is a guard, and he's shooting 52% from the field. So
That's
just to
insane.
show
It's
you how,
insane.
just to show you how efficient, that game was that we played the other night against the Thunder, is you have guards they're not taking layups every time. These aren't big men.
No.
They're shooting contested mid-range 3-pointers at the rim with guys taller than them, and they're shooting over half their shots are going in.
against the best defenders in the world.
Yeah.
Dude, the announcer kept saying incredible shot making, which again, get to your spots, shot making, they're like buzzwords. You hear them all the time.
Yeah.
But then when you see real life, like this guy gets to a spot on the floor, it doesn't matter what the shot is, it's going in. It's so impressive to see because you have that on both sides in the Cavs and in OKC. But then you have like another 8 players that like they have their spots too. And it's like 3 points, whatever it is. Wild to see. And then you guys play it back to back. And if anyone knows the NBA, back to backs are difficult, especially when you have a huge win at home.
Right.
The crowd is crazy. We were talking to some people that were there the night before, and they said it was insane in that building.
Yeah, the roof was about to blow off.
The roof was blowing off, and then you turn around and it's a Thursday, Thursday. You got another game against a team that's at the bottom of the East, who plays hard. You played in the first game of the season. Young, scrappy, have some good players. It felt like a game that could have got away from you. It was extremely competitive pretty much the entire game. How'd you guys pull that one off?
No, you definitely want to avoid the emotional hangover, right?
Yeah.
Because you're like, wow, that was a huge game. We're playing a team that's kind of inferior to us. Can we kind of coast? Also, Donovan Mitchell was sitting out.
Yeah. Illness.
Yeah. And those are games that you sometimes are calling them trap games. And Toronto came in and they play hard and they play the right way. Darko has them really.
He's a great coach. I think.
He has them
great
playing the schemes that he has behind his offense and defensive sets are actually really impressive. It's almost like you think the league should be leaning more towards, how they're thinking,
European style of basketball.
Psychologically.
Yeah.
And they played hard. Scotty Barnes played well. Chris Boucher came off the bench and was
Like 15.
phenomenal. No, he had like 26.
Oh, was it 26?
So he wasn't missing from
And
3.
you guys had a little.
Yeah, we had a
talk
little
to.
friendly banter back in the air. Former Santa Cruz Warrior teammate.
Okay.
And you want to avoid losing those games because that almost really doesn't even validate the win from the night before. And you talk about Darius Garland again, phenomenal, 40 points, plays at his own pace, takes advantage of mismatches, gets everybody else involved, and then has been extremely solid on the defensive end and phenomenal. He's been a joy to play with. And after everybody that was counting him out last year, do this, do that, blah, 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 he's not this. Yeah, well, he freaking showed you. Yeah.
You said it, and first off, let's talk about this. I mean, the people at the Cavs, the social media team, is just killing me for wearing anything aside from Cavaliers gear. So I bought this.
There we go.
I should expense them. This is $85 for the sweatshirt.
Yeah, you're good for it. We know you're good for it.
Good for it. I'll get the
He actually stole that out of my locker. So
Yeah, I wish. George is giving me zero swag. Can you believe that? I'm on a podcast. Okay, here's the point. Watching Darius Garland last night was wildly impressive. And one of the things you said to me was he is the best point guard in the league, and if not the best point guard in the league, the best in the East.
Yeah.
And it's like, as someone who is traditionally a Knicks guy and went to the same high school as Jalen Brunson, it's hard to give that up. But it's hard to argue that Darius Garland right now is not playing the best basketball out of any point guard in the East. This dude shoots the basketball. He's got it on a string. He's shifty as shit.
Yeah. What high school player does he remind you of? Kevin loves high school.
I don't know. That's a good question. That pass he had to Jarrett Allen when he was driving to the hoop and two guys collapsed and he threw it over his head like this. He couldn't see him. There was 2 7-footers in front of him. Somehow got it. Jarrett Allen just boomed it. This motherfucker is nice.
Yeah, he's been balling, and Darius, we can't thank you enough for your dedication to your craft because this has just been nothing short of amazing to watch.
If he's not an all-star, then blow the whole thing up. Fuck it. I'm not watching an all-star game because he's 100% an all-star.
Yeah, I mean, you would talk about the 4 guys that we have: Jarrett Allen, Evan Mobley, Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell. I mean, those guys are sacrificing minutes so that they can be healthy and play more games and, sacrificing shots. And they're extremely efficient. We're winning. And, obviously their statistics would be higher or their numbers would be higher if they played the 33 to 35 minutes, but they're sacrificing that so that they have the longevity to be healthier, play more games so that we can, either have home court advantage or get better throughout the year and continue to develop our bench. So that needs to be rewarded. That needs to be rewarded. And, I think nothing better than an all-star selection for all 4 of them is what they deserve.
I hope they get it. It's like the last team to have 4, I think, was Golden State in like 16 or something. So it's hard to get 4 on there, but you really hope
Atlanta
they
had
do.
5, didn't they, that one year? They're starting 5.
Did they? When? Back in
Jeff Teague, Kyle Korver.
It's like
was it Kent?
No, it was
no. It was Al Horford and what? Forget it. Just
the ISO Joe Johnson. Yeah.
No, I don't think it was. But
Okay.
Anyway,
I don't remember them getting 5. Hope they get 4 in. Yeah. So you come back, you win a good game. What's it like knowing you got to go on this road trip? Like, what is your logistic preparation? And now I'm not talking about basketball in this question. I'm talking about what is your logistic preparation before you go on a West Coast trip? What are you packing? Because they have all your clothes, right?
No, so essentially I start off my packing by Dude Wipes. You should go online and go to dudewipes.com and make sure you get
no free money.
And make sure you get you some Dude Wipes because everybody knows that everybody loves to poo on the road and you should get you some Dude Wipes. Dude Wipes.
Free money. Seriously, what do you pack? You just pack your clothes because they handle all of the basketball shit.
I think everybody knows that, they handle the uniforms over there. We got our guy Dylan in the equipment room with our guy Cobra. You guys know we appreciate you guys for handling all that extra stuff and making sure we're nice and ready to go. But I think you have your outfits of what you're going to wear for the game. Whether if you're in a city for an extra night and you want to have dinner with friends, you pack an outfit for that. Some comfy clothes.
Do you pack if you want to get a workout in? Do you pack your gym clothes or is that with the?
I think the team does a great job of having all that stuff ready for you and making sure you're ready to go. We're going to some pretty cold climates, i.e. Minnesota, so I'll definitely bring a Canada Goose jacket. Canada Goose, your jacket that only keeps you warm.
Stop giving free money away, dude.
If you want a great jacket, you should shop at CanadaGoose.com.
God, we're getting no money from all these people.
They don't know that.
Here's a question. Does anybody ever on a long flight, and it's a rule they're not supposed to, does anyone ever drop a deuce on the plane? Has that ever happened where someone's gone? You don't have to give it away, but has anyone ever
You're
dropped?
Disgusting.
Has anyone ever dropped a big old NBA deuce?
No, I don't know. But there's actually been a funny situation where on our plane it's like think of like a normal flight, but like the front area is like 14 first class seats, and there's like a table. So there's a table, and like we're facing the back, and then there's two facing the front. And then there's like where there should be 2 more seats, that's like made into like a bathroom. So you could do like a twirl in the bathroom. Like it's big.
Oh, it's a big bathroom. Yeah.
And they have the windows in there.
In the middle?
No, on the front of the plane.
Oh, front of
so
the
it's
plane,
like on the side. Right?
Yeah, okay.
So it's like it's walled off, but it's like big enough to be like 4 seats. So there's room in there. Yeah. And then like one time we had landed, and I had like wanted to go to the bathroom because it was like a long ride from
the airport.
From the airport to the hotel. And the window was open, and I'm standing there like peeing, but you know, like the angle from the person that's downstairs, and I was like looking down, and I look out the window, and someone was like grabbing the bags. And I was like, "Hey, man!"
Oh, they could see into the bathroom.
Shut the window, so
they caught a glimpse of that.
We're not getting
ding.
We're not getting any poop stories, but
pee stories. So basically, what you're saying is somebody saw your dingling on an airplane.
No, I'm not saying that. I just had to, cover up, give you guys a look
shot
behind the scenes of what we do on the plane, and that there was an open window in our bathroom.
Talking about moving on to other areas of NBA, meaning other teams. A lot of talk right now about the NBA Rookie of the Year, and our guy who I thought was the favorite, Jared McCain. I think it just came down yesterday that he's definitely not coming back from this.
He's not coming back this year?
Yeah, he had surgery on like the 17th or whatever, and they're ruling him out. Yeah. Did you think that guy was going to be the Rookie of the Year?
I didn't know what to expect of him,
Yeah.
Sometimes when you have extracurricular activities, with TikToking and stuff, sometimes you forget that, you're a basketball player, but that guy is
hooping.
He's impressive. He does a great job of managing both, and he is who he is. I think that's really cool that you can not care what other people think about you and go out there and ball. So credit to you, Jared McCain. You're wearing that number 20 and repping it proudly. In Philly.
With fingernails on, which is cool, man.
Yeah.
Do your thing.
Be you.
But people are thinking now it's Alex Sarr's race to lose, who is out of Washington. Again, not the best situation for a rookie, I would say, being in Washington.
Jalen Wells over in Memphis is doing a pretty good job over there.
But you've played Washington twice. What did you think about Alex Sarr as a rookie?
He's a really
big guy,
really talented big man. Can shoot it, can block shots,
run the floor well.
Yeah, dunk. He's really impressive.
It's good to see. And then the last thing I want to ask.
No, you know what? I'm going to cut you off. I think we need to get into some fan questions.
Okay.
We've been getting a lot of feedback, and you guys want answers to your questions. So you know what? We're not going to let you down. We're going to take time, and we're going to answer some questions for you guys.
Can I ask you one question first?
I'm sick of you.
Please.
Your high school.
This is not here.
Nonsense.
What is your take on the Jimmy Butler situation and him getting suspended 7 games, him asking for a trade? It seemed like the Heat had such a good control on what's going on down there, and now it seems like it's blown up. He was never your teammate in Philly, I don't believe. I think he was gone before you got there. What is your take on all that?
Obviously I think it's unfortunate when a relationship kind of perishes or sours. Obviously, I don't want to say people have egos, but I think people have pride. And, the team being like, you're not going to decide how we're going to do things. And Jimmy's probably like, you guys don't own me. So, I mean, it's a tough situation. I don't know how it's going to pan out. I'm not so sure Jimmy Butler has the leverage here because you're dealing with Pat Riley. And Pat Riley, this isn't the first superstar that he's had to deal with or has, let walk away or, he lives by the motto like it is what it is. Like he's not going to let any event or thing affect how he decides to run the organization, and that's dangerous.
Yeah, especially when you're looking at I think he gets paid $52 million for the next couple of years or something, and it's like for an aging superstar.
Yeah, you don't want to give up time. Time is against you right now, and it's not really about the money. It's like you want to get to a situation where you can win. You still have some good basketball ahead of you, so you don't want to waste that. So it's a tough situation.
As a fan, it looks like,
Jimmy Butler has kind of handled those situations by forcing his way out.
Multiple times.
Yeah, Chicago, Minnesota.
Yeah,
I don't know
Philly.
if Philly he signed with. I don't know how that works.
Yeah.
So it's worked out for him there. So I can understand why you would,
Yeah.
continue to do that.
Now, like, obviously you're a player, so you're going to side on the player side of things. But, like, do you think there is a point where forcing your way out of a place isn't the best look for the league?
I don't think that many players should go with the forcing your way out. I think you should really try to mend the Frenchman, be like, hey, like, this isn't working here. Can we, friendly breakups.
Like, there's a way for players to go and be like, hey, can we figure this out? This isn't working for either of us.
Yes.
Get me out of here.
I would say that's more or less the way
as
to do it.
opposed to, like, going
rather
public.
than, like, the Instagram breakup. They're like, me and Jason decide to break up because, like, we're just, not getting along. Like, no, I don't say bringing the media involved is not the best way to do that.
Like, I think you hear these stories, like that story in Minnesota of that practice where Jimmy Butler was going nuts on motherfuckers. And you started thinking, like, as an outsider, as a fan, those Minnesota teams were bad and they were soft. Like, as an outsider looking in, that's what it felt like. And so it was like, good. Like, Butler came in there like, you guys are fucking soft. But then you kind of see that happening more and more. And then you're like, is Jimmy Butler just a dick to people? Like, does he take it a little too far? He's obviously very, very good. Does he take it a little too far?
I don't want Jimmy Butler to change who he is because it's
gotten him this far.
Yeah, he's been extremely successful, and you can't tell someone who they need to be. So Jimmy Butler's going to be Jimmy Butler.
Okay. I'm going to ask you some questions. Some of these are maybe a little bit controversial. First off, this is a new segment. This is called Fan Questions, and it's sponsored by MyBookie. Go ahead and go on mybookie.com. This is a real ad, okay? These are the people we really want you to go on to. Mybookie.com. Use promo code GrillGuy. It's 50% match of your deposit up to $2,000. Go ahead, deposit $2,000. You will get a free $1,000 in bonus bets. So do that. MyBookie is the best. We're brought to you by MyBookie, and I'm a MyBookie guy through and through. And George, we're not sure if George can be because of league rules, but I am, okay? Here's a question. One of them is, does the carpet match the drapes, which I won't ask you because that's a pubic hair question. Here is a real question. Why would the Nugs keep Murray? Which I think is kind of a dumb question, Andrew Baker, but can you give your take? Why would the Nugs keep Murray?
Because he won you a championship, and I would say that yes, the Nuggets are struggling right now, but Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic pick and roll is still pretty elite. We're only 37 games in. It's not like we're not even halfway through the year. Like, a lot of things can change, and I think people forget that Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic have allowed role players like Bruce Brown and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope to leave and get a lot of money after playing really well.
Which, by the way, that's the type of stuff that I'm like, I don't get mad at players for doing that because it's like, you're a role player. You just bought into a system. You got this team a championship. You deserve to go get your ass paid.
I think everybody should, but at the same time, you can't knock them. Like, the salary cap and the rules are the way they are.
Yeah.
And, obviously they're going to figure it out. Mike Malone's a great coach, but I wouldn't lean towards trading Jamal Murray. He's in his prime and he's way too good of a talent.
And I don't get, like, people, I think it's maybe this, like, instant gratification thing that people are like, there's a problem, blow it up.
Yeah.
And, like, or like Knicks fans do it all the time, like, fire Tibbs, he plays his teams too much. It's like, you idiots.
Do you want to go back to when you guys weren't making the playoffs? Like, what do you want?
Shut up. Anyway, yes, Jamal Murray is like an elite basketball player. Like, they're not going to get rid of him.
But thanks, Trevor, for your question.
Is that his name?
I don't know.
Andrew Baker.
Yeah.
Okay. What's wrong with, this is from Riley241. What's wrong with the Wolves? Can it be fixed with the current roster? As you're going to play them.
It's getting a little spicy in Minnesota. They made a trade. Real late in the offseason.
Yeah.
So they didn't really have time to kind of, recoup and kind of see how things were gonna, play out. And I think I've answered this before. When you have isolation players, you need spacing and shooting around them. And I think that's kind of what they're trying to figure out.
Yeah.
In what pieces fit best. Dante DiVincenzo is playing better. He had to kind of adjust his game from starting with the Knicks and now coming off the bench. But I think they're going to eventually figure it out. Finchie's a great coach over there, and they have some really talented pieces. It's just going to take some time to gel. They made the trade like 2 weeks before the season, so literally you were planning on being this, and then it went to this. So
the argument on the other side is we're almost halfway through the season, so it's like. You can say that, and now look at what the Miami Heat did to the Milwaukee Bucks. A couple years ago, they were the 1 seed, and Miami Heat was 8, and they won. So yeah. So I guess there's 2 ways to look at it. One way to look at it is that like teams that up until this point in mid-January have shown you who they are. The Cavs are who they are. It's obvious. So is OKC. So are the Rockets were like a surprise team. They're a good Western Conference team. But then the same has to be said for your Phillies of the world, your Phoenixes of the world, your Clippers. It's like, and Sacramento, it's like, maybe these teams aren't that good. Sacramento blows my mind.
But I have a bone to pick because a lot of people were shitting on the East.
Yeah.
As if like, oh, the East is nothing, da-da-da-da. And now like, okay, go look at the West right now.
They're trash. I mean, I don't want to say trash.
It's not like they're having the best year either, but they're not way better than us.
No.
Like, come on. Like, let's be real. So I hate the East Coast slander. Don't do that.
Yeah. The people that say that I think are like biased by the early and mid 2000s when the West was so much better than the East, but it's not like that anymore.
No.
God, man, you have a lot of teams with really big names that just aren't playing very well. And it's crazy to see.
Well, here's my take on it, right? I'm going to really try and dial in on this so people understand where small market teams can't like afford to just go out and make these huge splashes and throw all this money at, one big player or like the 3-headed monster or 3 big pieces, right? Yeah. They kind of have to be efficient with, we're going to draft, develop, keep guys here. And I think what this is like showing me is if you're in a big market, yes, you're allowed to, use the media to make a big splash or sign a big player. And if you're a small market team, you kind of have to be efficient with your resources and what you do and who you develop. Hey, we got this guy on a team-friendly deal, or we have a lot of depth. And I think like it's showing you that, small market teams are more erring on the side of having more players, that are, more efficient, probably don't cost as much as getting like that big fish or and depending on 9, 10, 11 guys rather than, just trying to keep it at like 8.
Yeah.
I.e., maybe Boston kind of is the outlier of that. But like you look at what Indiana has done with the TJ McConnells, Obi Toppins. I know Aaron Nesmith hasn't played much, but then you look at what we're doing, and then you kind of look at where Milwaukee is, and they have that 3-headed monster.
Yep.
And
have played well in spots in the season.
No, for
starting
sure.
To like turn it around. But yeah, or even the Knicks. The Knicks have an incredible starting 5. Yeah. And then it's like,
would they dare play 10 or 11? Like, what would it look like?
Yeah, they don't do it. It's like
sometimes they play guys that were playing down for the Westchester Knicks. Shout out to my guy Tyler Kolek.
Tyler Kolek, yeah, Priority Sports. And by the way, I love Tyler Kolek, and I watched him intently in college, and I think he's going to be a good NBA player.
Oh, he's going to be phenomenal.
He's not getting minutes, and it's like everyone's like, why isn't like in New York, Tyler Kolek needs to be playing 20 minutes a night. It's like, I trust that Tibbs probably thinks he's not quite ready. And I'll trust, doesn't mean he's not going to be ready. He's 30 games into an NBA career, or like 3 months. It's like, part of it's like, oh, he should be learning on the job.
This is a Picasso painting. You can't just,
You can't just throw shit at it, But yeah, I mean, the kid's tough. He shoots the basketball well. He plays in the pick and roll really well. So I think he's going to be a good basketball player, but it's going to take time. Okay, here's a good one about LeBron James. Does LeBron retire before Bryce makes it to the league?
That would be a close one.
He just signed, or he just committed to Arizona, which is cool. Totally different.
Yeah, they're in the Big 12, so I can't really cheer for you. Sorry, Bryce. But no, I don't know how long he's going to play. I mean, we've played LeBron twice, and He's in phenomenal shape. He does a lot of great things. I think
That
yeah, that was nuts. Run the clip because that was crazy.
That's a 40-year-old dude. That's you doing that in 10 years.
Yeah, not happening. But anyway, yeah, I don't know what he's going to do. Something makes me feel like there's a number in his head that he would feel like is historic, that he'd be like, you know what? I'm going to call it one. I'm going to go out on my way. He's a phenomenal player. He's done so much for this game, allowed so many of us to make a lot of money playing this game. So super thankful.
He did say like he could be playing at a high level for another 5 years, and I kind of believe it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, like because he could slow down because he's still using athleticism, and you know the best players lose their athleticism and are still effective. Like Chris Paul is not super athletic; he's still pretty effective.
Yeah.
I think he could lose a few steps and still be pretty effective. He shoots the ball well, he passes the ball well, and he's huge. You know, here's a good one. You know these NBA highlights where they play slow motion, like Kyrie, and they play like a song,
like dancing music or like jazz music to it. Yeah.
If you could pick one song for a like one of these swaggy get to the first off for you, it's always a pump fake.
It'd be like you are not alone, for I am here with you. Though you're far away.
You've never done one of these.
Shut up.
Yeah, you have.
You're such a jerk. But honestly,
I like that one.
Those are some great questions. I'm glad that we could field those. Next episode, you know what we're going to do? Send in some more questions. We're going to talk about some of the underrated players in the NBA and who is on the cusp of making the All-Star game.
Or like
that has had like
stars.
good season
Yeah.
that we feel has, you know, showed us some things this season. So thank you for tuning in to the Bench Seat Podcast, sponsored by
MyBookie. Use promo code GrillGuy and get 50% match of your bets. Matched.
We'll see you guys next time. Thanks for coming out.